We're James and Holly, and this is our very first house. It's an old English cottage that is very tired and worn out, so we want to modernise it and bring it back to life.
We have never done a house renovation before, so we knew this was going to be a challenge, but I don't think anything could have prepared us for what we were getting ourselves into.
We know design, decorating and layout is subjective and personal, so we have to find a balance of what we can afford and what we personally want. And to make it more difficult, we're doing the majority of the work ourselves.
This is our 4.5-year journey renovating a house into our home.
So this is it. This is our brand new house, and we basically want to revamp it and bring it back to life and make it very modern, very fresh and very new and very clean, because as you can see at the moment, it's not any of those things. So let's start off by taking you on a quick tour around the house. And this is the kitchen. Then we get into the lounge. Should we go out here next?
Yep.
So out here is the conservatory.
So this will be the main bedroom. Here is the current bathroom. And now we have another room. And finally, another spare room.
Now we have so many thoughts and ideas on how we want to renovate this house. But the ideas we've got in our heads at the moment will probably change as well. It's just our kind of first initial thoughts. So let us try to explain initially what we want to do with this house, starting with the kitchen. We're basically going to be bringing this wall out so we can have kitchen cabinets on the top and along the bottom. And then if you come over this way, probably getting rid of the sink from here. We're going to be closing this door up here, boarding this wall up. We're going to be knocking the door through here, so you come through the front door straight into this bit, and then the sink will be going here, which is in front of a nice big window. Now moving on to the lounge, we've got quite a nice log burner in here. But I'm kind of against having the log burner. I want to get rid of it, but I know Holly wants to keep it, so we're still unsure.
Keep for now.
We're still unsure about this. So out here is the conservatory. Again, it's very old and kind of all falling down and stuff. But we basically want to knock all of this down and rebuild it out properly and build it properly so it's not literally a lean-to. I really want to get bifold doors so this whole bit opens up straight into the garden.
This is where you need to start imagining. So this will be the bathroom, but in here is the current bathroom, which is not really to my style. So what we want to do is get rid of this as a bathroom and knock this wall out. This will be knocked out, this will be knocked out, and this will be, I guess you just call it our gaming room slash studio slash office. So our cottage, being over 100 years old, means that it is very dated, inefficient and not economic to run due to its poorly performing oil Raven in the kitchen, which run a few radiators upstairs, a single storage heater in the lounge and a hot water tank on the landing. So first up, we're going to rip everything out and modernise it and make it all new and more efficient. We've now discovered this really old fireplace which was hidden behind the big water tank. Oh. This is kind of scary what we're doing right now. For what me and Holly have planned for the house is new technologies and basically revamping it and modernising it and stuff. So it doesn't mean that it's not scary ripping everything out. This is the scary bit now, Holly. This is where the spiders might live. Can you go get the hammer? But just look how crumbly the actual wall is. This is why we want to go back to basically the bare bones and redo it all, because you really can't do much with this. You scare me.
Just look how easy all these tiles fell off in one go. And now it's time to rip out that partition wall in that tiny bathroom.
I'm following James's advice, and I don't know if it's good advice.
And being an old English cottage, all of the partition walls and ceilings were made of lath and plaster, which were all crumbling, blown, and only being held together by the wood chip wallpaper. I mean, just look at the state of this ceiling. So yes, we didn't trust any of the walls or ceilings to not collapse down on top of us when we move in, so it all had to go. And we have to admit that when we first bought this house, we had no idea how bad these ceilings and walls really were.
We made a big mess basically, but it was justified because these walls did just need to come down. It was all old plaster and we would have just regretted it if we didn't. So we're going by the logic of make all of the mess and then make it good.
Now I've taken that plaster off, that means that I can get rid of that old and super heavy storage heater.
I literally can't move it. Bear in mind that this is going to be the bathroom and we want to tile this wall. If we put tiles onto this, the tiles have got nothing to grab onto because this isn't grabbing onto anything.
I'm so glad we found this out now and not when we had tiled it and they all fell off.
That would have been an absolute nightmare.
You see, just look how easy this plaster falls off the wall just by using my hand.
This is going to be quite a big dusty job because it's literally going to be raining down.
You ready?
Yeah?
Do you want to have a go?
No way!
Oh, this water is minging. Ah!
Look at that, it is absolutely disgusting, and that just poured all over my face. And that wasn't the only disgusting thing. Because we're moving the bathroom from one room into another, we now have to remove the old soil pipe.
Holy metal!
Look at the state of all of this. I can now get to the mains water into the house, which is this pipe right here. Oh gosh, what have I done?
What the heck is that? You see, this is why I want to like knock everything off in this house.
We don't want that.
I don't want that in my house. I think this is where the mice must have lived.
So because this was 2 rooms, this beam was half painted brown and the other half was just wood. So because we're trying to like modernize the place, but we don't want to lose all of the character, we're going to try and keep the beam and take it back to the original wood. Not only is there brown paint, then there's white paint, then there's more brown paint and another layer of white paint before you get to the wood. So it's taking me a long time.
We've obviously ripped so much stuff out of the house and we can hopefully now start turning it back into an actual house with walls, real life walls. Moment of truth, Hollie.
And this was really satisfying to see the plasterboard going up and the walls becoming actual walls yet again.
This is the professional way of doing it, right?
Yeah, holding it with your head.
And in a few rooms we did try to save some of the original plaster, but again it just was all blown and really not worth keeping.
The ceiling is really not very level. I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to have to tear the ceiling down in this room as well.
And I am so pleased that I did knock that ceiling down, as I could see that there were a few rotten ceiling joists, which meant that I could easily replace them, saving me a headache in the long run.
Now building out this kind of, what do we even call this bit?
The buildy out bit.
The buildy out bit. So I built this frame to make it level again.
And whilst we had the access, it meant that we could get a lot more insulation into the house, making it more efficient.
this little bit here is flipping red brick, which we didn't even know existed. We might rip this off here and keep all of this red brick here.
So finding this original brickwork underneath this blown plaster was really, really cool, and we decided to keep it and paint it white. This then became a new feature and a decorative design choice we added to each room when we exposed the brickwork from under that old blown plaster.
I thought that I would now fake a wooden beam with these bits of wood here.
Ever since day one of buying this house, we have wanted to tear this old conservatory down and build a nice new shiny one that doesn't leak in its place. Today is the day that this is coming down.
This kind of shows why we want to take it down. Just look how minging this is.
I can't even get any closer to that.
It's literally like hundreds and hundreds of dead spiders. There she is. Not having any back access to the house means that everything is going to be dragged through the house. Like, I don't know how many tons of rubble.
And once the new foundations were dug, we could properly see the size of our new extension. And yes, all of the building supplies, brick and block, and even the cement had to go through the front door of the house.
And we can start to see like the size of this room. So Holly, if you go into the far corner.
Okay, hold on.
Holly is now on the imaginary sofa, which is going to be in the corner of this room. Pretty big room, wouldn't you say? You can now see the stone of what the extension is going to be made of. So this is going to be blue lias stone, which is natural stone, which we got from a quarry a couple of miles away up the road.
Now we started renovating this house at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, so we were constantly struggling with the lockdowns and a constant cost increase and difficulty in getting all of the building materials we needed. One of the main issues was getting the new roof tiles for our extension.
Now, we luckily have managed to we've sourced some roof tiles which will go onto this roof, but for some reason they don't deliver.
So we had to hire a van and go on a ridiculously long road trip to collect them ourselves.
It is a 500-mile round trip from where we live, and we're going all the way to Norwich, which is the other side of the country, and unfortunately we're doing it all in one day, so no time for sightseeing.
These bad boys have got to survive a 5-hour drive home.
And lucky enough they did, which meant that we could finally get a watertight extension.
I really want to get bifold doors, so this whole bit opens up straight into the garden.
Ever since we bought this house, this was our vision, to do an extension and have nice, big, bifold doors.
Look at that, Holly.
We've obviously got to clear up the garden a little bit, but
A little bit messy.
look at that.
It's actually starting to feel like an actual room.
And the extension wasn't the only room that felt like it was coming together.
The progress is in full swing now. I am so happy. Holly, you happy?
I'm ecstatic.
We are so excited right now because the main bedroom has been fully plastered all the way around. I mean, look how good this all looks. Our games room, our spare bedroom, has now been plastered. Oh, hell yeah. What's going on?
I know, it's ready to paint.
Oh,
Yay!
that looks so good.
This wall will be green.
And the main reason why we wanted green was we didn't really want an end to the house and a beginning to the garden. We wanted it to basically flow all the way out through to the garden and then all the way back in to the house. Hence, we've gone for the green wall.
And in the main bedroom, we went for this really nice blue colour.
I think the brickwork looks amazing. I'm so glad we kept it and didn't just plaster over it. I think that is one of our best decisions, to be honest. And we've also picked our shelves, which are going to be like floating shelves, and they're going to be just arranged.
Higgledy-piggledy, the word is.
Higgledy-piggledy, as James puts it. We also thought the spare room needed a bit of attention, as this is going to be our office. So we're brightening it up by giving it a quick paint and chuck some carpet down to make do for now.
Okay, let's go back downstairs to the lounge and the extension. We want the same floor height to be throughout the whole house, so from the front door right out there all the way through to the bifold doors, which basically means that this wooden floor has to come up.
So originally, when we first showed you around this house, the kitchen, which is trashed as well, this was a kitchen and it was going to be a kitchen, but it's not going to be a kitchen anymore. So if we go back into here, this was the lounge, believe it or not, and it's now going to be the kitchen. James won on the log burner because the log burner can now no longer stay. So unfortunately, we never got to use the log burner. But it's going to be an amazing kitchen, so I can live with that.
It was only installed in 2015, so if you were looking at that thinking that I'm removing history from the house, this is 6 years old, so it's not really removing any form of history of the house. And deciding to move the kitchen meant that this room needed a lot more electrics and plumbing. And remember we said that we were moving the bathroom as well? So we've had no water in this house, no bathroom, no anything ever since we got it. This meant that I had to redo the entire plumbing throughout the whole house. The pipes come through the ceiling and they drop down and they basically go all the way down to the floor down here. And then the hot and cold will come down and run water straight through into the kitchen. What are we going to be doing with this room? This is where we're going to be building and putting a little downstairs toilet. On the other side of the downstairs toilet, this kind of area here, this is going to be our utilities. We're going to be building a stud wall along here with a door going into that utility room. That kind of whole area over there will be the sort of the entrance hall and stuff. Annoyingly, we cannot knock down this kind of, what do you even call it? This sort of porch here, because this wall is a supporting wall. So that's a structural wall. But this area right here is going to be one of the most important areas of the whole house. This is going to be where the dog sleeps. This is the dog bed area. Can you believe it? We're going to get a doggy. Not quite yet. Once the house is done.
He hasn't got a bed yet.
Because it doesn't have a bed. And I should probably remind you again that this is the first time we have ever renovated a house or done anything like this before and have zero experience. So we are complete novices. And for me personally, I love jumping into the deep end and getting stuck in. So, as you can see, the construction of the brand new downstairs toilet is almost complete. Here we go. Now most of the plumbing's done, that now means that I can get on and build that partition wall into the new utility. And as you can see, I'm also using an aluminium pocket door system, which basically means the doors will hide themselves within the wall.
It's no longer our imagination. We can feel what we imagined with the different spaces, with the hallway, and now in the utility, and the downstairs toilet.
So something very, very cool has just turned up. You can probably tell from the shape of this box here. These are the two brand new doors we've got for the sliding doors or the pocket doors, which go into this section here. Oh.
And these doors are something that I am so pleased with. You know when you have an idea in your head and you're not quite sure if it's actually a good idea? These turned out to be a great idea, because not only are they good for keeping the mess in here hidden, they're also good for keeping the dogs out of our laundry.
Now, when we first got this house, a main thing we wanted to do was update and upgrade the heating system. So one of the things we are doing is installing electric underfloor heating into each room of the house. And laying these insulating boards really helps with efficiency. all of the heat from the electric underfloor is then reflected back up into the actual room to make the room hot. And in the bedrooms, I've laid this insulating foam which also helps reflect the heat back up into the room. And each room will also be independently controlled via its own smart thermostat.
It's now starting to not feel so much like a building site and more like actually part of the house. We've even got a light up, and we did bring the mirror down just so we can get a feel of what it's actually going to be like. Something else I am loving is this wallpaper. It works so well because the blue in here matches the blue on the wall, and we've also got like a coppery bronze colour which matches the light. We also have another little surprise in here.
So we have painted the inside of the downstairs toilet this bright pink, which does match the pink in this wallpaper. And the reason why we've done it is because this is our house, so we can do whatever the hell we want with it. So that's why we've gone for this crazy floral bright paper and also done the bright pink painting as well. But now, as you can see, we have got the first few tiles down. It's looking so flipping good now. And it's so exciting to see the floor finally going down.
So not only did we tile the floor downstairs, we also tiled the entire bathroom too. And this was incredible to see the house slowly coming together. And another major milestone was getting the bedrooms carpeted as well. And now we can finally move our stuff into the main bedroom. And can you remember how bad those wooden beams were? Well, Hollie's worked incredibly hard to bring them back to life, in both the main bedroom and the spare room, which used to be that tiny little bathroom. And whilst we're in the spare room, we wanted to make this room a makeshift lounge with a sofa and our TV to give us a clean, non-dusty space until we finish all the mess and building work downstairs. But that's enough time watching films and playing Xbox. Let's get back downstairs to finish the tiling.
We're going to do something slightly different in this room than the rest of the house. So instead of just putting a normal wooden skirting board around the edge of the room, I've decided to do a tiled skirting board with a nice black edging strip.
Doing this in the utility and entrance hall, which is the dog bed area, means it is super practical, hard wearing and super easy to wash down. And now the flooring is done inside, I thought it would be great to head outside and get the patio sorted.
Everything is looking so flipping good and incredible in here. Not so much out there. We wanted to basically have the same patio slabs as the tiles inside. These patio slabs are pretty similar in colour and size as the indoor tiles. We didn't want to step down onto a patio, and one of the things which we had to work out at the very beginning of doing this extension was this floor and the patio to get this bifold door in the correct place. And the patio slabs are basically linking together, so we don't have really much difference between the inside and the outside. So with those doors open, we've got that almost seamless looking floor, which in mine and Hollie's eyes looks incredible. And it wasn't just a case of laying some slabs, I also built the retaining wall and a brand new step using the same stone as our extension to give some nice continuity. The final thing for me to do is to put the last 3 remaining patio slabs down. The step is now done. What are you saying, Hollie?
It is a beautiful step.
And whilst we were outside, we also decided to use the old flagstones from the old patio and set them into the ground and turn them into these really awesome stepping stones down the garden. So that now means that I should be able to put the grass seed down. And a few months later, this happened.
James's grass, which from back there looks amazing. It looks like a proper lawn.
But let's get back inside and crack on with building that kitchen.
Where do we even begin with all of that?
One of us has to have a hammer and one has to have a pencil behind the ear. Which
do
one do you
normally
want?
have the pencil behind the ear. That is something which I do
He's
enjoy.
sad because he doesn't have his friend with his pencil.
Now we went for an IKEA kitchen, and just like everything else from IKEA, it all turned up in these flat pack boxes, which meant we had to build all of the units ourselves, which to be honest was very easy and straightforward. So we did have the idea of basically knocking this hole out here and put a lintel in up here to hold all the brick up, and then set back our cooker and oven and stuff. By doing that, we'd actually lose a lot of space because this pillar here and here would have to stay, because we wouldn't be able to take this whole chimney out because it goes all the way up through the house and out through the top of the roof. We would have to put a lintel in up here to hold all the bricks in, which one would cost a lot of money. I'd have to get some builders in. I wouldn't be able to do it myself. You wouldn't be able to then have top cupboards coming out because your cooker would be too far back. And two, you lose a lot of this worktop space by keeping these pillars. And we're trying to do this the cheap way, hence me doing pretty much everything ourselves. And that is another reason why we went for an IKEA kitchen, because it's cheaper than other kitchens. So fitting an IKEA kitchen was actually really straightforward, as all we had to do was install this rail along the back walls at the correct height, and then all of the cupboards slot onto this rail. And now we can basically bolt all of the other cupboards to it, and it is completely rock solid as well. It's not moving at all. So basically we know that we've got a nice solid fixing to put the rest of the kitchen in. Once you then screw each cupboard together, you are left with a really solid and rigid structure. And all what was left to do was install the rest of our cabinets. And it was so cool to see our kitchen finally coming together.
Ta-da! Our worktop is here and it looks amazing. I am so pleased with it. The next step, what we've got to do is oil it, so that will be today's job. I think it needs 2 coats and it takes about 10 hours to dry. And if you're wondering, it's a solid oak wooden worktop.
It's probably not the most graceful way of putting a screw in, but it works. I also decided to custom build some unique shelves, and to keep everything consistent I used the same oak wood as our worktop, but this wood was slightly thinner. Adding in things like this little shelf here and these shelves up here just makes it feel like it's a little bit more designed, a little bit more kind of unique, and it gives mine and Hollie's sort of personal touch to the actual kitchen. As you can see,
We got a sofa delivered!
so having an almost finished kitchen and now a sofa in the lounge meant the downstairs was really getting there. But we basically want to knock all of this down and rebuild it out properly and build it properly so it's not literally a lean-to.
But there was no time to sit down, as we no longer need the makeshift lounge upstairs. It's time to redo the spare rooms to how we want them now.
To help brighten the old office up, we chose this vibrant jungle wallpaper, which my mum helped us stick to the wall.
We didn't just get a sample, we just bought the paint, so we have to go for it. We're gonna have a bright pink wall. This isn't the only room we're going to be transforming. This used to be the office, and it's no longer going to be the office. We are moving it to the other room, and then we're moving all of the stuff out of that room into this room, because we don't do things the easy way. And what a transformation just a little bit of decorating has done to this room for under £50, because this room is no longer an office. This is a sofa bed, so if anyone needs to stay, they can now stay in a nicely decorated room. And then over there is the storage, as James pointed out earlier. And by moving the TV and our consoles downstairs to the new extension, that means we can re-transform this room into our permanent office and studio. So we thought we'd go for sort of splitting the wall in half, so we can paint this side black and then keep this side nice and bright.
I tell you what, Hollie, that looks really, really good.
That was quite satisfying, actually.
Once I added a wooden shelf, some wall lights, a elegant thin black metal shelf and a sit-stand desk, our new office was finally starting to take shape.
Does it work? Yes.
All that was left to do in here was build a load more wooden shelves on the opposite side of the room to house all of our collectibles and retro gaming consoles.
Oh, and we also got another sit-stand desk for me and some comfy chairs. But in here is the current bathroom, which is not really to my style.
And it's mad to think that this used to be the tiny little bathroom. That's because we moved it into the bigger room next door.
It all worked out perfectly, there's enough floor space, and I just can't wait to have a shower.
And yes, it felt very wrong drilling into these tiles, but this was so we could install our new infrared towel rail. And we actually installed infrared panels into each room, so now every room in the house has electric underfloor heating and infrared panels, which are all controlled through their own smart thermostat.
And if you're wondering, our hot water is done via this appliance called SunAmp. It's a big electric thermal battery that heats water, and we have it positioned under the stairs. All of this really future-proofs the house and is far more efficient than the old hot water tank, storage heater and oil ray burn. So this will be the bathroom.
And now you're probably wondering, how are we getting on with the kitchen?
So let's start off with why. Why did we choose to convert our lounge into our kitchen?
Originally, we were just going to update and upgrade the old existing kitchen and then change the old lounge into a dining room. When we finished building our extension, we thought that having an open plan communal space downstairs would be really nice.
So when it came to designing our kitchen, it was during lockdown, so we couldn't just go to a kitchen specialist or designer. So us being us, we thought we would try designing our own kitchen.
So finally, we came up with the design we've actually gone for. To us, this design has the best use of practical space, the most amount of storage possible for the room, and even space for our small table that doesn't compromise the flow of the room.
Here you can see we have that perfectly flat and level tiled floor running throughout the whole house. So let's now finish off the entrance hall and that utility room.
We are now at the very, very fun stage of the final thing to do with the room, and that is to now convert it into an actual functional utility room.
And we've been so impressed with the IKEA cabinets in the kitchen that we chose to use the same ones in our utility room, which meant that I could easily fit these myself again.
We have decided to go for a black door front.
This is not as glamorous as I thought it would be in my head.
And you might be wondering, why did you decide to go for this lovely matte black finish on the door fronts? That is because We wanted to do the complete opposite of what we've already done before, and that is have matte white units, what we did in the kitchen. We basically didn't want to have 2 rooms in the house that looked identical.
Everything we've tried to do with this small house has been utilising the limited space and to make it super functional. And in here we managed to squeeze loads of storage cupboards, another freezer, a narrow drinks fridge, and a washer dryer. And don't forget, we also built a downstairs toilet in there too.
And one of the final things I had to do was oil our worktop. We chose this solid walnut wood, which has an incredible texture to it. So how good does this area look now? This is our window seat, and it's going to be great for taking off our muddy boots after a long walk. And we can gaze across and look at our finished utility.
This is going to be our utility. And now the final thing I had to sort out was the most important area of the whole house. And pretty much the main reason why we wanted to renovate this house and turn it into a home was for this very moment.
So, this is it. This is the morning we're getting a puppy.
Do you want to tell me how you're feeling, Holly?
It's like Christmas.
It happened. Look at the little pup.
We knew when we bought this house that it was going to be a huge undertaking, as we have never renovated a house or done anything like this before, and that's what was really exciting to us. If we gave it all of our love, time and effort, we could turn this old, rustic and very tired looking house into our home. And it kind of goes from like, yeah, we're doing so well, to, oh my God, we've got so much to do.
But finding the balance of what we could physically do ourselves and what we could actually afford was a major challenge. But nothing could prepare us for all of the hidden issues we found along the way. And also doing the majority of the work during the COVID pandemic and having to navigate all of the uncertainties of lockdowns, material shortages, and the constant price increases.
After 4.5 years of blood, sweat and tears, we can finally sit back with our new puppy Neo and be proud of everything we have achieved.
Do you have these kind of scary thoughts of like, what have we taken on? Because
Sometimes.
This was never just about the destination of finishing the house. It was about the journey, and now it's done, we can move on to our next chapter. And if you enjoyed this 40-minute mega edit video, we would really appreciate a like and subscribe. And from me, Holly, and now Neo, thank you so much for watching our renovation journey.